Hello and welcome to the Tarkis Zone. Thank you for joining me. Today we're going to be playing the game Frozen Flame, and I'm going to be going over the perks or the talent tree that's currently in the game. Now this may change in a few weeks when they do December Update 2, but this video is valid for today, and the perks or talents that you can get in the game will be valid for at least a few more weeks, or it just might stay the same. That's the I just don't know, but I figured I'd go over it briefly with you to just show you what the game has to offer. Right now, I'm going to reset my talents so that you can see how the system works. And the reason why I didn't put my ugly mug on the face with my green screen today is because I want you to be able to see this corner, and this is where my bald dome usually goes. But today we're just clear, crisp. We can just see the game, and let's go over the talent tree. When you first get into the game, you'll have none of these little flame things, frozen flame. I guess, hence the name Frozen Flame. You don't have any. So what you'll do is you'll go up to like level 1 by just doing a few easy things. And then once you get level 1, it's kind of already used because you've got to take this first perk or ability or talent. But moving forward, so I'm not just having to say those three things, I'm going to continue calling these things perks for just sake of moving forward. So you take the first perk, and that allows you the ability to get combat energy. And right now, the combat energy in the game is you can get it a few different ways depending on the perk you take, and we'll go over that. But currently right now, you kill a monster, you do some damage to a monster, and you get this build up of combat energy. And then when it's totally built up, then you can utilize the special ability of the weapon you're using. And what's also nice about it, let's say that you're switching between a bow and a staff, and you're shooting with the staff and you switch to the bow and you're shooting with the bow. The combat energy doesn't get reset, it continues to pool. So let's say you've got the bow in your hand, and the bow, no special, but your combat energy is full. You switch over to the staff and then use its ability. Or if you have the axe in your hand and the staff, because the axe has an ability and the staff has a unique ability. Each one has a unique ability when the combat energy is charged to 100%. So you can swap back and forth and do whatever special combat ability that weapon has. So don't think that if you switch weapons, your combat energy goes back to 0 and you got to regain it. No, it stays. So that's how they done it in this game. So the first circle is, I'm going to call this tier 1. This is your tier 1 abilities. And what I do is I try to fill in as many tier 1s as I can until I can get one of the tier 2 abilities, which is the second circle. And you'll be respecking quite often in this game. I do, depending on what I go out to do, because I'm only 22nd level, and if I'm just going out to grind planks, then I don't need many combat abilities because I can just run away from the monsters, or I usually go places where there are no monsters around. So let's look at tier 1 abilities. Now this one here at the top is called Trained, and you get extra stamina. I like taking this because it allows you to do, I guess in this case, I'd call it spam DPS. You're going to throw as much DPS as you can, damage per second, if you don't know what that phrase means. So you try to do as much damage as possible, as quickly as possible, to burn down the mob so the mob dies and you're done. So if you only have so much stamina, you might not get the 5th fireball from your staff that you need to kill the monster, and then you got a regen. So if you had extra stamina, you can get 5 out of the staff, and in more cases, the thing's dead before it even gets to you. So that's how that's useful. It's also useful in other things in this game, like running and flying. This one here, warm up. Each dash triggers an increase in combat energy. Now, this is good too, especially if you're evading or dashing a lot in a what I believe the mechanism in this game is the space bar. You hit the double tap the space bar or hit the space bar while you're moving in a direction, and you do a dash, and it uses your stamina to do that. And anytime you dash, you're building combat energy. This is very useful, especially if you're fighting a lot, because you could just charge yourself by just you're basically converting your stamina into combat energy. I mean, that's the basic mechanism. You're taking your stamina and you're making it into combat energy. I mean, that's it. Then this one here, harmless. This will allow you to drop aggro, is what I think this one does. I haven't tested it. This one here allows you to have a steadier hand while shooting a bow. This one here is increase the combat energy rate. So this is another nice one if you want to use those special abilities often from the weapons. Gaining flame from killing each enemy leads to an increase in combat energy. So both those are combat energy related. So you can build the combat energy. This one here is healing. I like taking this one. I like getting to this one as soon as possible because it allows you to top yourself off after combat without having to eat anything. And this is just the Z ability. This is, and if you don't realize, even your expert veteran players, each circle is a tier. And only that tier will fit into slot 1. Tier 2 fits into slot 2, and tier 3 fits into 3. So if you take the ability harmless, or you spend points on it, your perk, and you also take the perk healing, those don't show up in both these. You have to pick which one of the tier 1 abilities that you're going to use. It's either or. So if you took, and there's another combat ability here called Warrior Call that taunts enemies. So if you had this one, and this one, you actually have to pick which one you want to utilize. And I mean, that's how they designed it. I'm not keen on liking that design, but that's how they designed it. And so I normally take this ability, and I never spend points on these two abilities ever, because I think the healing is more OP than those two abilities. So moving around the tree here, or the talent circle, slows down the destruction of all weapons. That's very helpful, especially if you've got weenie weapons in the beginning, the stone weapons, they get destroyed quickly. I mean, the other option you've got is just make a few copies of the item and stick them in a crate or carry a couple copies with you. And then you don't have to really worry about the destruction, because once the weapon hits 0 durability, you just drop it on the ground and use the other one, because they're so easy to make. You know what I mean? They're not. You just literally go pick some couple items up and you can make another axe. I mean, that is what it is. The extra health is nice. That's this one here. Each incoming physical impact results in increased combat energy. There's another combat energy perk right there. We talked about this one, the taunt, and then increases the maximum carry capacity of 10. That is okay, but I think it should be greater in value. But then again, once you get to the other perks that we're going to talk about, over encumbrance is not really an issue in this game. Yes, early on it can be really a pain in the keister, and taking this perk helps. But what I end up doing is, once I get to the other perks in the other tree or the other circle, I dump this perk, because it's not worth it. It's just not worth wasting a point on it. As you can see, how the tree works is you have to have this ability, or this ability to make it to the next circle. So you got to keep that in mind. The next circle requires 3 points. These all only require 1 point. So let's say, for instance, you fill up all these. There's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 abilities. And you've got all these filled in. So that means you're 12th level, right? Because you've got 12 points. You can respect your, or redo your ability with the R and cash those back in, and then you could just buy extra health, and then get yourself into the tier 2 abilities. And then as you're working on because all the tier 2 abilities require 3. So that means you have to do 3 levels in between any time that you want to do a tier 2 ability. So during those 3 levels, I then reallocate my points to these tier 1 abilities. And then once I can get to the next tier 2 ability, I do another reset, do this, then get this. Because this one here, strong legs, I'll tell you what, once you get that, nothing really bothers you with encumbrance because you can just run while you're overloaded. And if you want to transport while overloaded, just put a crate near the transporter, throw some stuff in it, go transport, then come back and get the rest of your stuff. I mean, this ability, to me, just makes the encumbrance system silly mode. It just is. And the other thing about this ability is it allows you to run at double speed. So there is a speed that you normally run at. This ability allows you to run double speed while encumbered. So getting encumbered is your best friend because then you're running like the Flash everywhere in the world. So I always try to get this ability as soon as possible as a builder and a crafter. That's what I do, is I go out, get this ability, and then I just go get what I need. The first ability into this second tier is Sword and Greatsword. Takes less stamina. So if you're using either one of those weapons, doing less stamina is nice. We talked about this one. You can run well encumbered. This one here increases the critical hit with a weapon by 50% if its durability is equal or higher to 90%. This is really important when you have the higher end weapons because they'll stay at 90% or higher longer. So you get that extra critical while you do this. Now, the 50%, I believe, is 50% on top of your current critical chance. So it's not like your critical chance. Let's say your critical chance is 40. It's 50% of 40 that would get added to that. So that's, you got to keep in mind that but it still works. I mean, you get more criticals. Earth Stomp. I love this ability. I actually take trees down with it. I also can clear out camps with it. It's really OP. I do like it. It's just a ground stomp. Or what they call it, Earth Stomp. It allows you to it's an AoE that does damage around you when you use it. And that, again, that would fill that second where I've got the mouse is. That ability would fill into this slot. Increase your defense while you are full. I mean, it's okay. I mean, if you've got points that you just want to throw at it, you can do that. But I think there's other better abilities that you can get at this tier level than that one. Healing Rest gives slow health regeneration if you're rested well and health is under 20%. I don't like this ability at all. I just give slow health regeneration if you're well rested. Okay, so I'm well rested. I'm going to get like a little regeneration, and health is under 20%. So it's only going to heal me up to 20% of my hit points. So I'm thinking to myself, how's that helpful? Because I'll just eat something, or I'll just drop my healing AoE and top myself up. I just don't know how useful this is. I mean, I guess if you're down to the wire in a fight, and that little hit point tick, because you're rested, is going to allow you to survive the fight. I mean, that's one thing. But, I mean, if this thing actually fully healed you, meaning that you're well rested, you're just standing there looking at the daisies, and then over time you get 100% of your hit points back, that would be worth it. But if you're just getting 20% of your hit points back over... that's just my thoughts on it. It's not. The bow wielding ability. Attacks with bow consume much less stamina. That's self-explanatory. Allows you to fly while encumbered. See, this is important too. It pairs with this ability that I showed you here, strong legs. So if you've got strong legs and you've got light, then you're pretty much moving around the world with no hindrance at all. There is a point where you only can hold so much. But with these two abilities, you can hold pretty much a lot. I've built huge structures in the world just by having these two abilities, because I can just go get what I need, and nothing's really slowing me down. And the weight system is kind of mute at that point. Death Silence increases critical chance of bows when combat energy bar is full. Okay, that's kind of tricky, because that means because the bow itself doesn't have a special ability. And I don't think the bow itself generates combat energy. I could be wrong about that, but you definitely, if you had these other perks, getting hit or whatever, those are going to generate. But in this situation, you would use another weapon, get your combat energy to 100% using the staff or whatever, the axe, sword, whatever, and then switch to the bow. And then when you switch to the bow, that increases your chance with the bow. That's how that kind of works. Sky jump, invented by a mage who wanted to jump really high. He didn't enjoy the landing. I don't know. I don't know if that's useful or not. It might be useful in the future. It's not a perk that I've ever taken. Hunting excitement. Regenerates half of your stamina after each creature you killed. So I guess if you're grinding mobs, you're running around killing groups of mobs, this is very helpful to you, because you can just continue grinding. And fast leveling, quick grinding. So if the game got to the point where you need to go kill 100 mobs in less than 3 minutes, this would be the perk you'd want, right? I mean, because you're getting your stamina back while you're knocking off creatures. All right, this one, increased movement speed if you're rested well. I mean, that's kind of that to me is a mute thing again, because if I've got this perk, I just make sure, strong legs, I just make sure that I'm always encumbered, because I'm running like fast while I'm in that state. So that's that. I mean, I've never taken this ability because I didn't see the need for it. This one here, staff wielding ability, I always get into this as soon as I can, because I love the fire staff in this game. That's my bread and butter of weapons. I just enjoy it. So this just allows you to consume less stamina while you're wielding a staff. This one allows you to teleport well and overloaded. So again, another perk that allows you to bypass the encumbrance system. So you've got the strong legs, you've got the light that allows you to fly, and then now you've got the teleporter. You can just teleport while you're overloaded. Keep in mind, I believe currently if it's a private teleporter, you can't use this ability on a private teleporter, but any in-game teleporter you use, this ability will work. So if you've got the bird, you got the strong legs, and you got this, then there's really nothing in the game that's going to slow you down when it comes to the encumbrance system. You don't even need it. You can run around, you don't need a backpack. You don't need it, because you've used these perks in the game to get that to work. Gives additional flame after each cooked meal. I think this is their way to get you extra experience if you're just the guy sitting around cooking things all day. So if you're working with a team and you're the guild cooker, this ability allows you to get more experience while you cook, so you can keep up with your friends. Why it's in tier 2, I don't know. I think this is a tier 1 ability. By the time you get to tier 2, I don't know if you're going to spend a lot of time just cooking. I don't know if you want to spend 3 points for this, but I guess you could. I mean, I guess you could take this perk, go do a crap load of cooking, and then just respec back to your DPS spec, or whatever spec you want. So I guess it kind of, if you wanted to do it that way, where you spec this talent perk when you're going to do a lot of cooking. Chain Lightning, I hear this is great. I've never taken this ability, but I hear this is a great ability, and it does some primo damage. Art of Staff Wielding. E increases critical chance of a staff when combat energy bar is full. That's pretty much self-explanatory. I have gotten this before when I had my other When I was on the other server, my guy was like 33, I think. I think I was able to get this and still get the other perks I wanted. Reduces cooldowns of all spells by 30%. That would mean anything that's in these 3 slots, that's what you're reducing by 30%, their cooldown. Tier 3, which would be this guy here, is not unlocked yet. And I believe that is going to be part of their future updates. If it's the December update, great. It could be future updates. My guess is if these cost 3 to get into, these might cost 6 to get into. Maybe even 9 to get into. I don't know. But this is how it is today. This is how the game is designed today. So to fill out what I normally do, increase the, because I want to get to this. I just want to be able to use that staff without any issues. So I always take that. I'm going to take this. I'm going to take this. I don't use the sorter, great sword, all that often, but it's the quickest way to get to this perk, which I do utilize very often. So that leaves me with 8 points. So I could get in that I could do get the extra stamina, bow wielding. I don't use a bow, but that allows me to get into light with 1 point remaining. So let's just because this build that you see me make is my go out and get crap build, and that's what I'm currently doing right now. So I'm going to take this one here because the next level I will then take my healing ability. So I'll have my healing ability. But with this build that I just made, I have the staff stamina reduction, I have the ability to run while encumbered, and I have the ability to fly while encumbered. So that's how I'm going to set myself up. And see how I'm running here? You could see the, get a feel for this. I'm going to go grab a bunch of crap in a crate, and I want you to see the difference with the encumbrance. Okay, so I'm overloaded, or encumbered is what I would call it. Now watch me run. Look at that. So I'm encumbered while running, and because I took the perk, I can fly while encumbered. Now I can't teleport while encumbered, but that's fine. Like I said, you can find the radius of where they don't let you build, and you could tuck a box right here. So I dump stuff until I'm not encumbered. Then I go over here and transport where I'm going, do what I need to do, run back here, and get the rest of my crap. I mean, that's the easiest way that I found it, because these two abilities are just OP. They're just allow you to basically be a pack mule. It really does. All right. Well, I'll plug our Discord address again. There it is. H2GC ACEQXD. And I'm enjoying the game. I'm hoping the update comes out soon. And I'm hoping these videos are helpful to you. If you like my videos, please subscribe to my channel and turn the bell on so that you get notifications. I've been doing a lot of Frozen Flame videos only because currently right now I'm just waiting for the next update, and it's giving me time to just do these videos. And maybe some of the videos that I've done won't be valid, or the information in them won't be valid after the next update, because they could be changing quite a bit within the game. But then I'll just do a few videos to help bridge the gap from the old way they used to do it to the new way they might be doing it. All right, well, that's it for me. This has been the Tarkis Zone. Thank you for joining.